inconsequential. Insignificance. This is the legacy of humanity.
Still alive.
May the mother soul
What do you know?
What's up, guys? We're here. Welcome back to the channel. So today I'm bringing you an updated video on my gemlinging stat stacker for Path of Exile 2. This has been an absolute blast. We got some updates and some gear changes and just some more stuff to kind of bring you along the way of this journey using the gemlinger since it survived the recent patch. It's been confirmed that this, the stat stacking and the Pillar of the Cage God is not going to be nerfed right now, so it'll be nerfed when the new currency wipe happens and we get the new league or the new additions to the early access. So for right now, you're safe. So if you want to play this, feel free, build up to it. It has been so much fun, and it's my strongest and most favorite build so far in Path of Exile 2. So we're going to kind of briefly go over some of the build and the changes that we had made. I'm going to go over real quick how the build works and what the build does, and then we'll get into the changes. So this is a stat stacking gemlinger from the Mercenary. We are stacking attributes with enhanced effectiveness for all of our inherent bonuses to be doubled because we're stacking intelligence, strength, and dexterity. All of this is through the Pillar of the Cage God. For those who haven't seen this build, if you have, this is just a brief recap. We get increased area of effect, attack speed, and weapon damage per 5 on each of the attributes. I am currently sitting at 628 intelligence, 503 dexterity, and 294 strength. My sheet damage is 172 before I start doing anything, and my attacks per second is only 13. You can get this much, much higher with even more upgrades than what I have into this build, and I think I have about 50 divines or so, maybe 60 divines into this build. Okay, so that is all we're going to do. We're using Tempest Flurry, and all we're going to be doing is just splashing around, as you guys saw me kill the Arbiter in the beginning of the video. So we're just moving around, just killing everything and spamming this. We use our bell for bosses, and we use our Hand of Chalawa to apply curses to the bosses. And then I have a favorite skill of mine for Storm Wave as extra if you just want to mess around with some other stuff. So that's the breakdown of the build. Very, very important, very baseline. It is just a stat stacker. We're going to stack as much intelligence, dexterity, and strength as we possibly can. Now, as far as the gear, let's go ahead and break down what I have here. So I have this. I have put 3 attack speed gems on here. Very important to increase your damage output. I wish when I corrupted this, I got the 10% inherent corruption for attack speed because it would be even more. But I didn't. I got the 3rd socket, which is fine. We put 3 attack speeds in there, which is great. Next, the most important, another really key piece is Hands of Wisdom in Action. This scales your build very, very high with the increased attack speed and damage per 10 intelligence, which is why we have intelligence as our main stat out of all 3. Next and probably most important piece is probably the Grand Regalia. Now, I don't have the best in slot yet. I'm still working on getting it. It's about 40 to 50 divines, depending on who's selling it. You got to check prices. There's a lot of scamming going on, so be careful out there, guys. But you want 5% increased attributes, and then instead of rarity, you want plus 10% increased to all resistances. This will really help you get your resistances capped. And then you want 5 sockets and not 4. So I struck out on both of those, but I like this one with the rarity, and it's really great. Next, one big gear piece that we upgraded was our Ingenuity Belt. We went and finally killed the King of the Mist, and we got an Ingenuity Belt with 77% out of 80. I have not corrupted this yet, but this is insane to scale both of our rings. The next big piece that we added was Melting Maelstrom. These go for about 22, 24 divines per potion. This is what really is going to change the output of the build, especially when you're doing bosses, because when you are running Mind Over Matter, all damage is taken from mana. You know, you're spamming Tempest Flurry, you drop your bell, and then you're losing all this mana while you're fighting. If you take any hits, then that takes away from your mana first. If first you got to lose your shield, but then you're going to lose your mana, and running out of mana really sucks. For mapping, you're never going to have an issue with this, but for bossing, it became a problem. Unless you're face tanking, like if you try to dodge, you'll be fine. But if you face tank like I was, it's a real problem. So Melting Maelstrom solves all of that because when you press it, it recovers all of your mana. It is no big deal. You get 7 charges of this, and it's an absolute game changer. When you're fighting bosses, you blow through all your mana, you pop your potion once, and you're back to full. I have 4,200 mana, and you just destroy bosses and just melt them. It's insane. This was the first big upgrade that I added to the build. Then we bought Ingenuity after that. No, not bought. We went and fought King of the Mist, and then we got Ingenuity. After that, boots we did with Intelligence, Cold Res, Lightning Res, just kind of cap. Same thing with our helmet. We went into Energy Shield, all ES based to try to get as much Energy Shield as we can for an extra added layer of defenses. With just resistances is perfectly fine. In our amulet, we chose a gold amulet just for more rarity, even though rarity is probably not the best thing. But all same thing, ES affixes with mana, and then all attributes, strength, intelligence. You could do dex and intelligence instead if you would like. We anointed insightfulness on here, really good. Increase energy shield, mana regen, and a 6% increase intelligence, which is fantastic for this build. After that, our 2 rings, we got a breach ring with add fire damage. Very important. Make sure you add fire damage for the Tempest Bell. This is very important just to help scale the damage from it. Okay, this helps ignite the bell, which allows us to deal more damage. Then we got lightning damage, more mana everywhere, strength, intelligence. Then instead of 2 all elemental resistances, I want that to be all res or just intelligence in general. But in order to res cap, I had to do it because I don't have the best in slot Grand Regalia. In my other ring, we got chaos res with added cold, added fire, mana, and then 2 of the 3 stats, and then fire res, so that way we could cap. Very, very important. I got 22 chaos res. I do wish that this was higher. I wish I could swap out the intelligence in these boots for chaos res to try to get this as close to 50% as possible. But if you do want to run CI in this build, which you 100% can, then it doesn't matter. You're immune to chaos damage. I have ran CI in this build, and it works perfectly fine. It is not a big deal to run it or not. It's totally up to you. I've tested both, and it works just fine. That's the gear, guys. Very, very important. These 2 were our huge upgrades. Now let's go over to our skills. I'm just going to briefly go over these because we've made some changes and did some add-ons. We got to put Ice by here. We got to move Inspiration back into here. So we got Tempest Flurry. This does the majority of our moving around, and Tempest Flurry does do some really good damage. However, a lot of our damage for mobbing and mapping comes from our heralds. So we got Tempest Flurry. Highest level you can get. Everything needs to be quality. Let me just put that out there. For some reason, people who follow a lot of these guides or my guides have issues with damage because they don't quality or level their gems up. I can't believe I have to say that. Tempest Flurry. Now, this is in order of priority of your gems. We got Martial Tempo, Inspiration, Rage, Crescendo, and Primal. I'm using Primal. I really like it. I am at 172 DPS. If I take this off, I go to 137. You can run Bullseye if you want. Bullseye is the only other one I would put in here. So that puts my damage to like 148, I think, with Bullseye. Next, you got your 2 Heralds. As far as 6 linking, Tempest Flurry first, then your Bell, and then the 2 Heralds, but I skipped the Bell. In our Heralds, we're doing Ice Bite, Glaciation, Ambush, Cold Infusion, as well as Cold Pen. Herald of Ice, we have Overcharge, Conduction, Magnify Effect, Innervate, as well as Shock Siphon. This one I'm testing just for when you're mapping, just to get shield back when you kill somebody. Otherwise, I'm going to swap this out for like Lightning Pen or something. But through testing, this has been really, really good. It just helps keep my energy shield up. On the Tempest Bell, we got Concentrated Effect, Close Combat, Lightning Pen, Overabundance. Super powerful. If you go a 6 slot, then you may use Primal. You could use something else, but this works just good. Now, I'm using a Charge Staff style Tempest Flurry stat stacker. I really enjoy Charge Staff. It's very, very strong, and it just adds so much damage, especially when you're bossing. So we got Combat Frenzy paired with Resonance in our passive tree to do this. Then we got Profusion, and then I have Clarity for more mana regen. Charge Staff, we have Persistence, Lightning Exposure, Cold Exposure, Strip Away. This just beats down their resistances. It's so good. Then I have my Storm Wave. You do not need this skill at all whatsoever. I just really like it. So Storm Wave with upheaval, mobility, rising tempest, long shot, super good. Just helps with mapping, or like on certain bosses when you're stuck in a corner like Zarkoth on Sekimas, you can just sit there and hit this and then go back in and kill him. Hand of Chalaba. We have our curses here. We apply 2 curses at a time. We have conductivity for negative lightning res, Voltaic Mark, heightened curse, and then enfeeble just to make them deal some less damage. Okay, very important. Now, into our passive tree here, we made a lot of changes. I'm very happy with where this is at, and I thoroughly enjoy this. Now, we made considerable changes, but let's go ahead and go over all of them. So we are just taking Battle Harden. Inside of our Ascendancy, we, of course, take Enhanced Effectiveness. I'm doing Advanced Thuma because I want the less cost of skills, especially when we swap. Now, for bosses, I have been testing Cast on Shock with a weapon swap. So this has been really good. As you guys saw me destroy the Arbiter at the beginning of the video, this is what I use to destroy him. So Cast on Shock will be on a weapon swap. With Eye of Winter at level 13, very important. Do not go any higher than this for mana reasons. Then Impetus, energy retention, so that way it just constantly goes off. When you are going to do the boss fight, all we're going to do is put Inspiration into Cast on Shock. Then we're going to move Herald up with Ice Bite for more damage, because the Heralds do absolutely nothing against bosses. Down here, we finally got a good against the Darkness Time. We got 1% increased mana and 4% dex. Really good in here. Very important. The next big change, of course, we still have the Adorn, but we switched a lot of our jewels into increased maximum mana with any kind of other affix with stats. So we got like 6 intelligence, we got strength, we got dexterity on a lot of these jewels, and increased maximum energy shield just to kind of pump these numbers up for an added layer of defense. We are still running Falcon Technique as well as Falcon Dive for more attack speed. I did opt in to grab Enhanced Reflexes for more evasion, but more importantly, the 8% dex so we can attack faster. Again, another regular jewel that we will change to a corrupted one. And then we crash for the video, which is great. Very, very good. We always crash in our videos. But the 8%, and then we go up and we grab Martial Artistry for even more accuracy, crit damage, and then dexterity, which just feels really good. I really do enjoy this. Now, we still have our Wildstorm, which is very important. And then, of course, we have Resonance for the power charges. One additional change that we made was Storm Surge for just some more penetration, which is great. I'm not sold on this, but it does feel good. So I'm using it for now. Again, more jewels with mana on kill. Then we got more jewels with Corrupted Blood. Then we have more jewels for increased maximum energy shield and dex. Of course, we're running Mom. And then the last big upgrade that we made, which cost me a nice penny, is Controlled Metamorphosis. We got the Massive Ring, which is very important. We try to get as close to or the lowest negative elemental resistance and chaos resistance we can get. However, if you do go CI, the negative chaos doesn't matter, but you need to be careful on the negative elemental resistances. This Control Metamorphosis is great because it allows us to keep pure power and lose the nodes here. Yes, I know that's a lot of lightning damage. However, we get to go in and grab Lightning Quick for more lightning damage and attack speed, as well as Drenched for even more shock, and more importantly, 5% of lightning damage as extra cold. It's an insane amount of damage increase. And then the last point we grab is Eldritch Will for even more life mana, energy shield, and threshold. Now, we did add in these 3 nodes here for more energy shield as well as maximum elemental resistances. Very important to take those just to keep this shield up. And then, of course, we have the Whispers of Doom, which allows us to apply 2 curses. So the big change, it was the gem here for Control Metamorphosis, a little bit of changes to the passive tree, and then we got the big change in here with Ingenuity as well as the Melting Maelstrom. Big changes. We had to get this new ring to kind of help cap and finish things out, but I'm very, very happy with the changes in the investment that we put in. I don't know if I'm going to make a follow-up video to this with the last changes that we're going to make. However, there's 2 jewels we want to upgrade our Adorned, and then we want to get another jewel that's going to change Dance with Death into a bonus to our energy shield per amount of strength that we have. So our energy shield is going to go up. So those are the last 2 big upgrades I want to make to the build. If I ever get a best in slot Grand Regalia, then I'll be happy. Otherwise, I'm very happy with the one that I have. So other than that, guys, the build is really, really good. I hope that we can min-max it just a little bit more, but so far I'm able to destroy all the bosses in the game. T4 Zesh, Arbiter, just everything in the game. Sekima, Trials of Chaos, just anything that you want to do. Mapping. I can do any maps with all 6 mods on a Juice Breach map, and it's perfectly fine in this build. So it's been a lot of fun playing this. I just want to be a little bit faster, but otherwise this build has been a joy to play. So like the video, guys. Comment down below. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Let me know if there's any other suggestions you could have for me for the build to help me improve it. That would be greatly appreciated. I'll try to answer all of those in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, guys. And as always, stay gaming, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.